Hello, and welcome to the second episode of the Very Backbenchers. Appreciate everyone that watched episode one. I'm so glad it's over. It was, the first time really being in front of a camera for longer than a minute. I don't know about you, Alex, but
yeah, it was tough.
It was, we're hoping moving forward everything's a bit more chilled, a bit more calm in fashion as we go. Welcome back to the Very Backbenchers for some very amateur and below average PMQs analysis.
Of course, as always.
Yeah, we're looking at PMQs. We're recording this on the 7th. We're looking at PMQs from the 5th of November. So thank you for watching and hopefully you enjoy this one. We'll probably start with a little explainer. So Starmer wasn't at PMQs. He was at COP30 in Brazil, the climate conference. And Badenoch was absent as well. We've had a little look around. We can't actually figure out why. She probably just had something else going on.
Yeah, should we start on that potentially, Starmer being at COP30? Obviously, COP30's been boycotted by Trump, I think. Quite a few global leaders haven't gone, suggesting net zero isn't of importance, but clearly it is.
Yeah. I mean, we had a little chat on climate in the other pod, and we sort of disagreed in the fact that its importance.
Yeah.
But so Starmer's over there.
Yeah.
Badenoch's absent. So David Lammy, the current Deputy Prime Minister and Justice Secretary and former Foreign Minister, stands in for Labour. And James Cartledge for the Tories, the Shadow Defensive Secretary, he stands in as well. So it was quite an explosive one, quite a good one, I think. But yeah, if we start with the thing that's been everywhere about David Lammy not wearing the poppy to start with. I don't know if you picked up on that as well.
I mean, I don't think I can speak too much on that. Would be a bit hypocritical.
For those watching.
I'm clearly in
I think I'm blindsided now by putting a poppy on, to be fair.
That one very quiet, so now I look like an idiot. But honestly, mate, I don't care. Yeah, joking. I do really care. Anyway, but yeah, I thought first of all it was a bit strange that it was the Shadow of Defence, not Shadow of Justice. I would have thought they would.
Robert Jenrick, and Lammy thought it would be Jenrick as well.
Yeah, so that's clearly thrown him off, and I don't know if that's the reason he's lost his head.
Yeah, I don't know, but
someone's just definitely got to Lammy.
Yeah, to talk about why he wasn't wearing a poppy. So the story is, he was out the morning of buying a new suit. I don't know why, buying a new suit, and his poppy was on his other suit. Cool, so he didn't bring his poppy over. I mean, he did put it on eventually. I think he borrowed one from a minister sat next to him. But it was weird. Everyone forgets things, but you'd think this would be something that they'd be all over, his team. Like, he's obviously got people that will be checking him just before he goes out.
Definitely, but it's the Labour Party at the end of the day. Obviously, they don't understand what Remembrance Sunday is. Clearly not, mate.
Oh, right, you're going, okay.
I don't know, mate. Yeah, you'd think, but it just shows their complacency as well.
That's what I say. I'd say that's all it is. I don't think there was anything malicious behind it. I think it was just complacent. Someone should be pulling him up and say, oh.
But do people make those decisions through a lack of care? Is not a priority. If you care about these decisions, you're doing them.
Maybe.
Correctly. And Remembrance Sunday, the biggest event in the historical British calendar.
Yeah, really. and maybe it's for a bigger reason because they had other things on their plate. So that brings us to probably the bulk of today is, the hot question is, should David Lammy resign? So again, to paint the picture, James Cartledge asked David Lammy essentially the same question 6 times. Are you aware of any asylum seeker, specifically, not person, being mistakenly released from prison since Kabatu, the Ethiopian asylum seeker that was convicted for sexual assault and released last week by accident and then deported back to Ethiopia?
Yeah.
Lammy couldn't answer him, Alex. He couldn't answer him the whole time.
Am I right in saying that as PMQs were going on, the news came to light through outlets that it was true, and he obviously did.
So the Telegraph reported that 2 men had been, within that time, I'm not sure exactly when, had been released from HMP Wandsworth. Mistakenly, one has returned himself, and one, as we're recording this, has been arrested. So I think that's been put to bed. However, yes, it seems like something Lammy should know, and it seemed like he did know. He obviously did know, or he would have. I think he would have come to his defence and said, but obviously he's not lied in Parliament. Let's clear that up.
No.
That's a breach of the ministerial code.
But he's chosen not to reveal information he knows is true, which doesn't help Labour's credibility and transparency at the minute.
No, the honest government, the self-proclaimed honest government.
Of course.
No, it doesn't. So I don't know why. There's two questions here. One that everyone's posing is why would James Cartledge not say, we are aware of a situation of an asylum seeker and another guy as well being released from prison, to basically stick it to him. And at that point, if he knows, he's got to say, right? Rather than just asking the question. My guess would be it was probably unconfirmed at the time. It was probably a circulating thing, come from maybe one person in Telegraph. I don't know.
Yeah.
But maybe it was the confirmation. I can only think that was the reason, because it's almost like they've gotten to the sword, it sounded like.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll pick one thing Cartledge said, which is in reference to the father of the girl who was sexually assaulted.
Yes, yeah.
That the government has failed them relentlessly, seeing as this has been ongoing throughout the whole time.
Yeah.
There's been obviously a lot of things going on behind the scenes over this whole palaver, and I don't think Lammy could handle it, to be honest.
It doesn't seem like he can handle it. And here's the stats for you, right? Over last year, over the previous government, there's an average of 57 people accidentally released per year. It's now risen by 128% to year ending, to the most recent year, right?
Yeah.
And 90 of those are confirmed to be violent or sexual offenders. So, yes, and Jenrick came out and said, trying to keep partisan aside, Jenrick came out and said 57 is too many, way too many. But to double that, I mean, that's absolutely insane. It's absurd.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it, but I can't understand how anyone can be accidentally released from prison under any government. I don't get it at all.
Maybe it's an HMP Wandsworth thing. We've seen a lot of stuff pop up at HMP Wandsworth.
Yes, a few little stories.
But it seems something a bit fishy going on there. And yeah, as I say, it's a systemic failure from top to bottom, from Starmer to the civil servants.
Yeah.
And that falls on Lammy. I mean, Lammy's been chucked about a lot. He's probably had a tough few months. Obviously, been Defence Secretary.
Yeah.
Upon Rayner's dismissal or resignation, rather, we've seen him become Deputy of Labour. With the new lady, what's her name again, coming over him.
I can't remember her name. But I know who you mean. Yeah, the new Deputy Leader.
And now Justice Secretary, and after this, could be on the verge of potentially a forced
right. So then, after this, in terms of the events unfolding, the Speaker called Lammy back to the chamber to explain, essentially, and he didn't go back. He hasn't made a media appearance. I think he's scheduled to make one today. 7th of November. There's been another minister, I think, gone on Good Morning Britain just to try and clear things up. Not very well, but it's not her fault, right?
Yeah.
It's not hers to clear up. So it's a bizarre one, and I just think this is the Justice Secretary. Yes, he's new in the position, but this is something you've got to be all over. And if the fault does lie with him, is he at risk of losing his job? Whether pressure to resign or...
Yeah, and he did get asked by Cartledge further, are there any more members who have been accidentally let out of the prison system, incarcerators? And Lammy refused to answer, really didn't refuse to answer, but he beat around the bush. He equivocated as normal and didn't actually confirm. So for all we know, let's take it with a pinch of salt, and maybe there are more people lingering about that are undocumented and they're keeping it quiet, and actually the whole thing's a mess.
Yeah.
We don't know if we look...
It's clearly a broken system. But I mean, we're talking about probably the most high-profile one that's happened that I can remember in Kabatu last week. Two more this morning. Obviously, it's being stressed. It was stressed by the Conservatives there, and I'm sure it will be by Reform, about this being an asylum seeker, an Algerian man who was released from prison. But yeah, it's just an absolutely crazy thing to me, and I think that Lammy's in hot water, to be honest with you, Alex.
It's definitely treading on thin ice. But the House opened up to condolences from all parties about the recent attacks in Huntingdon, which, of course, our love and faith goes out to everyone who was affected by that. Huntingdon, actually a place near where you grew up, Taylor.
Yeah. So I'm from Peterborough. So that train route, the LNER, pretty common one, that goes up towards York and down to St Pancras. So yeah, crazy. And they did all speak about that, and everyone was united, which is obviously nice to see.
Yeah.
If we come back to David Lammy, or what I've put to you earlier, Inflammy Lammy, inflammatory David Lammy.
Yeah.
There's a theme running through how that whole PMQs when he addresses Cartledge, the Daisy Cooper from the Lib Dems, and talking about Farage. Is he seemed very on edge. He's at one point seen shouting "Get a grip, man!" at
Yes.
Cartledge
Saw
in
that,
response to a question. It was very animated at
Yeah.
the dispatch box.
Yeah.
I can only imagine that's because he's under all this pressure, right? He has probably known of these two blokes being released this morning.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's beating around the bush as we've discussed, but I
Yeah,
can
no.
only imagine he's under pressure, and this is sort of coming out in a bit of a emotional reaction.
Emotional reaction, yeah. A lot of frustration, it seems, coming out. Maybe as a result of other wrongdoings by other people, could be down to him, or maybe someone just painted his nails wrong that morning. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, it looks to me like, he had a little pop at Daisy Cooper and the Lib Dem coalition with the Tories regarding the sort of status of China as an enemy and Elon Musk in politics, which is obviously in British politics, which is an emerging theme.
Yeah.
And had a little go at Farage as well. So I think there was a
Yeah.
bit of a Labour planted question
Yeah.
about minimum waging young people, right?
That was it, yeah. Minimum wage and young people. Lammy straight away goes for Farage,
Yeah.
gunning for him. He's making quite a lot out of gold bullion, he said.
Yeah.
Which Nigel Farage proceeded to respond with a good old
A good
thumbs
thumbs
up.
up, yeah, just to let him know, yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Yeah. I think maybe Farage is also sick, like probably all the other members of Parliament are sick of Labour deflecting every time they get a question. Is a recurring theme we've seen throughout PMQs over the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Whether it be Starmer or Lammy, it seems to be a lot of...
And I think it's just to clear, before you continue, I think to clear up, that's not a Labour exclusive thing.
No, of course
Prime
not.
Ministers obviously, or Deputy Prime Ministers obviously, sometimes they question on something they haven't prepared for. Lammy clearly wasn't prepared about the accidental releases, so there is a lot of deflection that goes on. But I think Labour make it obvious. We obviously,
Yeah.
last week's PMQs, you had Kemi Badenoch get a bit of a slam dunk in
Yeah.
terms of, in July she asked a question and Keir Starmer answered it straight away regarding the tax in the budget. This time round he couldn't do it. So I think, there's a lot of deflection people are pretty upset about.
Yeah, and the main people who are upset by that is the public, I think. If we go back to, we spoke about in the last pod, it's been a reoccurring theme on a lot of podcasts, and politicians have said that there's just a lack of trust between the people and the government. And PMQs is a chance for politicians in the cabinet to express their credibility and provide stability to people and a peace of mind, which they're struggling to do massively. And it doesn't matter who it is; they're all the same, it seems.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't mind going back to Lammy's frustrations, because we did see a severely animated Lammy from the get go. I think "Get a Grip, Man" was a response to the second or third question
Yeah.
Cartledge put forward. So to know, is it pent up over a period of time, or is it just the recent news that he knew was going to come to light eventually? About
Well, whatever it
Matthew.
is, there's clearly mounting pressure on everyone in the government. Rachel Reeves obviously had her little pre-budget speech, which revealed everything and nothing at the same time. This week, Lammy, it doesn't seem like Starmer's actually in hot water for once. So
yeah, he's probably getting a breather over in South America, where they forgot.
yeah. So the Conservative in me says that Lammy surely has to be finished, right? You can't have a record as poor as that, 128% increase, not answer the questions. It's not even the opposition leader asking them.
Yeah.
And then not do any media, not go back when the speaker requests you. I don't know, Alex. I think he's...
Lammy's definitely been through a turbulent time. He's had a tough gig, maybe from what he's inherited, but whatever it seems to be is Lammy's lost the plot. Lammy is lost the plot. So if we're going to go on PMQs overall, which side do we think won?
So I think actually this is probably a very rare time since the new Labour government that there is back-to-back weeks of opposition victory. I think last week Kemi Badenoch sort of slam dunk gotcha over the 3 taxes.
Yeah.
And this week over, I do wish it was delivered in the sense that we know about this story, you didn't say it, blah, blah, blah. The sixth question could have absolutely buried him. But I get the point of it needs to be verified, etc. So, but no, I think the opposition win for second week in a row. What do you think?
I'm in agreement.
Yeah, in agreement this
Opposition
time.
wins.
So
Cartledge has stepped in, and to be fair, probably didn't have to do much.
no, I think as soon as that story broke,
Yeah, Lammy's head went.
yes.
Absolute head loss. Absolute.
Yeah. So if we move on then to the other event that we've had this week is Rachel Reeves' little speech you see out on Tuesday.
Yeah.
At something like 8:10 Tuesday morning. So I think this was a response to PMQs last week, in which the manifesto pledges, as a reminder for those watching or listening, at the start, in the manifesto, the election manifesto, Labour said they would not raise income tax, VAT, or national insurance on employees. So yeah, it looks like that's off. What was your take of that speech?
I mean, the speech was, I think, lasted for about 15 minutes or
20 minutes. It wasn't anything.
Largely didn't get much out of it. I think we saw the markets react initially badly, and then they rebounded later in the day. I think she's just warming us up. She's warming us up to increase taxes at the next budget, and it looks like it's going to be income tax, lower rate of band, up 1%. Reducing personal allowances again, because previously it was up to £150,000 earned. Now you can only earn 125 without having an allowance.
Okay, so then to bring on to what was said last night, like I say, we're recording this on Friday, Thursday night, question time in Sunderland. You see that question about What do you go on? Explain to the viewers, and then we'll give a verdict on that.
So the question stated, should Starmer and Reeves resign if they break their tax pledges committed in the manifesto? So I think obviously it's big, and
it's huge.
The speeches we've seen leading up to the budget, the one this week, I think it's all warming us up for them to actually do it. I think they've made the decision.
It's coming, yeah.
It seems. And should they resign, they won't. They definitely won't.
You won't see a Chancellor
and
Prime Minister double resignation in following a budget.
Yeah,
but,
I'd love to see them.
What do you think they should? And this is the point. We know it won't.
Yeah.
We're in agreement on that. Do you think they should?
I think Reeves should get gone.
You think Reeves should go?
Yeah, I think Reeves should go on the basis of other decisions leading up to this one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of factors which could come into play. I've seen a tax on electric vehicles as well, which also seems like a retraction from their net zero pledges.
It does seem like that, yeah. So,
as well as I'm pretty sure government currently give out subsidies to electric car holders. So putting a tax 3p per mile, like a bit counterintuitive.
Yeah. So I'm in agreement that they both won't resign. I think Rachel Reeves should. For me, it boils back to the manifesto, which maybe wasn't her fault, maybe it was. The Tories were absolutely finished come 2024. There's not a chance they were going to be put back in office, right? We didn't have the increased following of reform at the time. It was going to be Labour. 411 seats, I think they won in the end. Did they need to say that they were going to not increase those three taxes? Maybe they would have lost 20 seats.
Excellent point.
But why say it? Why say it? It doesn't make any sense at all, right?
Yeah.
I just think that now they've put themselves in a horrible position where breaking a manifesto pledge, especially one as important as those three big taxes,
massive.
How can you be trusted, right? Yeah. And especially, you should be following an example of, you've seen the Conservatives be bashed really for 4 years for the same thing. Say it's a government they couldn't trust. That's what Labour said. That's what the public said.
Yeah.
You have to rule on honest politics. It's the only way you do it. It's all well and good now saying that, we need to do it. Unfortunately, we're all going to have to chip in. But why do it in the first place? It doesn't make any sense. Honestly, it doesn't make any sense.
But I think that's Labour's policy in any government. Raising taxes is their only way to generate money, not actually invest in our economy to generate higher GDP and long-term economic growth, which is the importance. There's no point seeing short-term fluctuations. If we go back to Q1 growth fastest in the G7 at 0.7%.
Yeah, and now look at it, yeah.
And they still bang on about it to this day, but that was a windfall from Trump's tariffs, a lot of offloading from US companies to not face the brunt of the full tariff effects, and that's a short-term boost in aggregate demand, in our economic growth, but we're not investing in the knowledge economy, we're not investing in skills and technology, and there's a massive mismatch in the UK.
And I think it shows when you hear different speeches. I know Kemi Badenoch had one in which she said a third less graduate jobs exist this year than did last year.
Yeah,
we touched on that the other day, but I just think the record speaks for itself.
And
how can you do this and stay in your job, break these pledges, perform so poorly? I'm going to say it now. She has to go.
Yeah,
I don't want to get very Arsenal fan TV.
Yeah.
I think she has to go. Starmer, however, I wouldn't. But she has to go.
Yeah, and raising taxes isn't going to help our case for getting a grad job whatsoever. No. It's just going to reduce spending power of individuals. Companies are going to get less money and hire less. And this is all contractionary measures. And if we've seen a third of grad jobs being cut
in 1 year, the first year of the parliament.
Imagine what's outside.
Yeah.
Next year, imagine that.
Yeah. So it's obviously important to consider AI in that. I'm sure that's taken a lot of lower level jobs. Yeah. But it won't be all that, will it? It's not going to be all of that to eliminate a third of jobs. Let's be honest.
Of course, and then obviously we're in a transitioning period in terms of AI. And I recently watched a summit of the World Economic Forum where they were speaking about AI and actually redrawing the descriptions of jobs. Yeah. It's going to be an enabler rather than a taker. We need to learn to grow with it, to have more of a mindset, to continually learn rather than adopt certain skills.
Yeah.
So we can see how the government are struggling to navigate that as well in terms of where to invest in the economy.
Yeah.
It's a tough chapter, but we've got to ride the wave and come out the other side in this transition.
Yeah. So if we sum up now, then we both think that David Lammy is in very hot water.
Extremely.
Potentially to the point of push for resignation.
Yeah.
The opposition won that PMQs. Could have had a bigger blow, but they didn't. And then we have a little look at Reeves' speech, and it just spells disaster. I think things are only going to get worse before they get better. So
I'll paint this to you, Taylor. So we've seen Rayner dismissed.
Yeah.
Potentially Lammy dismissed after the autumn budget. Could that be a Reeves dismissal?
I think
also?
It will be. I think
trifecta.
I think
maybe a triple.
I think it might happen.
Strong.
I think it will happen, and I think it has to happen.
And then if that's 3 of Starmer's strongest cabinet members, does he go?
It doesn't look good for him. But thank you for tuning in to episode 2. You've heard the very backbenchers' take on all of this. We'd love to hear yours, so leave it in the comments below, wherever you're watching, YouTube, Spotify, maybe even on Instagram.
Maybe.
Let us know what you think, and the main podcast will return next week on the hottest political topics, delivered by some pretty amateur and pretty poor analysis, but we'll do our best. We'll do our best to keep the young people talking. So, thank you very much, and this has been the Very Backbenchers.
Thank you.